Hanaki! Did you know that our souls are connected by fate? What do you know? Yuno Hanaki from production Kawaii's Hanamizuki. Good evening. I said this in pre-chat, but this stream does have a little bit of a time limit because I picked a slot for I mean, she posted her schedule already, so you guys know about it, but I picked a slot for Kohaku's birthday call-ins, and it is a much smaller window compared to some of the other call-in windows, so I want to make sure I can actually make it on time, because the last thing I would want to do is be late to my Kohai's birthday Totsumachi, so I want to try and end close to when my slot is. But we'll still get plenty of yapping time in, don't worry. I am a pro at getting in a lot of conversation and rambling before a time limit. So we'll be all good. But just letting y'all know. Letting y'all know. If you hear me suddenly drop a topic and end stream, it's because we're close to the time. But it does mean you'll get to hear an extra few minutes of me during Kohaku's birthday stream, which hopefully you guys have been checking it out so far. Help her crush those goals. Get those accomplishments. Just keep streaming while you call in. I don't know about all that. I don't want to do that to her. It's her birthday. I shouldn't do that to her. Plus, I'd have to make sure that the Discord audio is set up on my end, and that's a bit of a pain, because I wouldn't be, like, preemptively in the call. It'd be, you know... Our stream is up on my TV right now? Hell yeah. That's how it should be. Get a multi-POV call in. You guys are silly! I don't know. I don't think I should do all that. Long work week, feel like I'm connected by a bailing wire and then insomnia right now. Oh man, sorry to hear you've had such a long work week. I hope that you can unwind this weekend. You know, not following the kawaii way of streaming your call on your stream? Really? Do most people do that? Is that a common thing? I didn't know anything about this. I just thought it was common courtesy that I should funnel everybody to the girl's birthday and then I call in. Heh. I didn't know this. So many call-ins. It feels like... I'm not sure how to word this, but it just feels like I've done a lot of Totsumachi in the past few months compared to before. I guess, like, there was kind of a period where there weren't as many birthdays, and now suddenly the season is full of just, like, ton of birthdays. Crazy. It seems pretty common that whenever there's a call-in like that, they do it from their stream. Really? Huh. I never noticed that. But I guess that's fair. Anyway, that is not how I do things, I guess. I would just rather, send everybody to the birthday girl in question, and then call in. It's as if there were more kawaii members. You know what? That's true. Part of it could be because Ephemera is literally 6 new girls, and a lot of them happen to pick, like, summer-ish birthdays, so everybody ended up being, like, relatively close together, and it ended up being quite chaotic. But there's nothing wrong with that. In the end, there is nothing truly wrong with this. It's just kind of silly. Okay. So... but yeah, that's the plan for me, at least. I will be sending everybody to Kohaku's stream around the time of my call-in in the Totsus. Well, for now, we will talk about otome. It's otome time. Be ready to just let all of my rambling go in one ear out the other. I'm sure most of the things I say are incomprehensible to begin with, but thank you for putting up with it regardless, I guess. Okay. So there were several games that actually released, like, within the past couple of days in particular. Everybody was like, we went from having, like, nothing happening in August to just a bunch of games all kind of releasing English versions within the same week. I'm specifically talking about localizations for the record in terms of August releases. I'm not talking about releases in Japan because I feel like it makes more sense to talk about games that are coming out in English because most of my audience primarily speaks English. Although, actually, fun fact, I was checking my demographics the other day, and I noticed that my second highest demographic besides, US is actually Japan now. I'm not sure how that happened. It goes US, Japan, I think Canada is after Japan? I don't remember, but, like, Japan was, like, way up, and I was like, huh? I'm not really sure how that happened. But that's kind of cool. Oh, sick. Yeah! That was neat. It's the Oni. True. I do have a very, I do have, like, a model and, like, a bit of, like, a lore that ties to, like, Japanese folklore. Perhaps that is why, but I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that that was the second highest demographic now. Didn't expect it. You're not 5 a.m. anymore? That's true. Now I'm like 8 a.m., which is slightly easier for JP viewers to check out, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know for sure, but it's probably like less difficult at the very least. Anyway, but my point is, I'm specifically talking about games that are getting localized versus games releasing in Japan, because obviously there's gonna be like way more games releasing like in Japan in Japanese compared to the rate that games get localized anymore, but it is what it is. We could also get into a whole thing about how localization is starting to become more popular, but one could argue it's because a lot of these companies are starting to use things like machine translations, but I digress. Anyway, I wanted to talk about some of the games that were releasing around this time frame because, I mean, some of them are ones that I already wanted to play to begin with, but I was wondering if any of them would strike you guys as fancy, so I could kind of prioritize which one to get my little Oni hands on. But let me go ahead and start gathering some images for you guys so we can talk about them. Alright. So the first one is probably the one that I was the most excited about of all of my options. Or, like, of all of the possible games coming out around that time. Mate, getting the image. I probably should have prepared these beforehand, but I was I won't lie, I was eating dinner right up until stream starts, so definitely on me. It's on me. I should have prepared a little bit more. It'd be like that. Come on, I know you must have the official image here somewhere. What did you have for dinner? Oni Mama wanted pizza. So we had pizza and chicken wings. Yeah. It was pretty good. It wasn't really what I wanted, so I probably could be more satisfied if it had been something I'd actually wanted to consume, but it was fine. Pizza's pizza. Pizza with fries. Well, we had, like, potato wedges, but as a side dish. They weren't on the pizza. The wedges were not on the pizza. I just had them with the pizza, you know? Here we go. This is what I wanted. One moment. Well, this is what I wanted, but I can't find a good the image of the full cast. Hold on. I need to see the cast. I need to look at the pretty boys. Every day I struggle. Well, this is the page for it on Steam. Or the Steam splash art. Pick it up, please. Well, it's not out on Steam yet? Oh, I guess it's coming later. Fair enough. Fair enough, I guess. Every day I wake up, same. Every day I wake up, I have to make choices. Oh, there we go. This is better. What do you mean? Why? Okay. Image. There we go. It's a WebP, but I can fix that. It's okay, I can fix you. You don't have to be WebP forever. And saved. Okay. Oni denied. It really do be like that. Constant state of rejection and denial. Okay. So the first game, like I said, is the one that I was the most excited to see get localized and also released. It released pretty quickly from when it was announced to be localized, actually. So this is Genso Manege. Look at how sparkly, kira, beautiful this art is. It's so good. Couple? Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. That was a surprise. Hi. Nice to meet you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, I am, for those of you who might not know me, I am Yuno Hanaki. I am from production Kawaii's Hanamizuki. I am a half Oni performer. I was banished to Onigashima. That's where I became a half Oni. Now I know, sorry. You caught me at a bad time. I was showing off anime boys. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I write, I voice act, I sing sometimes, I stream, I ramble. Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you very much for the raid. Hope you guys had a good stream. Hope you did something fun. Nice glasses, not big enough. I mean, I think they're plenty big enough for my face. Thank you. Oh, that's also true. I do stream a lot of cozy games. My audience, the Damadachis, tend to call them Yuno-core. But, yeah, I do play a lot of, like, comfy games, like, games that are a little bit more on the casual side, because I'm a bit of a casual gamer, I would say. But yeah, so, this stream, I am talking about otome releases, games that are coming out in August, because we're gonna try and pick out a game for me to prioritize, like, playing in my off time, so that I can, like, make streams, like, reviewing it and talking about it and stuff like that. Since I can't actually stream the gameplay right now until I can get permissions, I'm working on that. But until I can get actual permissions to stream these sorts of games, I am just going to be playing them off stream, and then I will be coming back and, like, reviewing them, basically. We had an AI that claimed that fathers can produce milk? Oh my gosh, what? Fascinating. I have no idea how that conversation came about with the AI, but, more power to you, I suppose? Sounds like fun, though. What a stream. That does sound like the stream of all time. Okay, anyway. So this is Genso Manish. The general premise, not to spoil it, because we are going to be doing a Guess the Otome love interest type stream for whatever game we pick. But so Genso Manish is a game about the main protagonist, Emma. She's the pink-haired girl in the center there. She reawakens her magical powers in order to aid a unique cast of characters, all of who are trapped inside of a magical traveling amusement park. Emma lost her memories as a child due to an accident, and she has to recover her past through love and friendship. Hope you have a good stream. Love comfy games. Heck yeah! Thank you for the raid! Much appreciated. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's kind of the premise of Genso Manish. I wanted to get into this game because of the art style and because of the voice cast. I think that they are really, really cute. I love the art style a lot. The artist, they have drawn, I think, one VTuber child before. A boy. But, I really like their art style. I think that the character designs are really charming. If I had a nickel for every time you mention an ultimate heroine who lost her memories. Look! They have to have a reason for why the character is a blank slate, okay? I don't particularly like it when the heroine loses their memories, but they have to have a reason for why the girl has no personality a lot of the time. And their easiest excuse is having the character lose her memory. But, like, the thing is, she lost it as a child. So it's not necessarily that she recently lost it. It's more so just that, something happened in her past that made her forget. I'm sure she has, like, some form of a personality now, but I honestly don't know. I haven't played the game. But, yeah, so Genso Manish is coming out relatively soon. I'm pretty sure it was scheduled to release this week. It's one of the games that's coming out. It might just not be out yet. But yeah, it's good. It's good premise. I like the voice cast as well, like I said. Pretty star-studded cast, at least for my tastes. And the art style is really, really pretty. I like, I have a taste for these kinds of, like, cute art styles and, like, the kira-kira kind of sparkly vibes. I tend to like those a lot. I don't mind a little bit more of, like, thicker lines and, like, edge, so to speak. But, I do admit that I have a soft spot for soft art. I really like soft art styles, and I feel like, this art style is quite soft. I like their hats. 3 of them have hats, this is true. I don't know if we want to count the one with a hood. But they do have pretty nice hats. And yeah, the premise is that they are all trapped in a traveling amusement park, which is interesting. Kind of like, I feel like they kind of mean more like a fair than an amusement park, but I get what they mean. So I'm guessing they all have, like, representative things that they do for the amusement park as, like, part of being trapped there. And it's going to be up to the heroine, Emma, to kind of, like, get them to resolve whatever their issues are so that they can maybe leave the amusement park. Presumably to leave with her. I don't know if she's also trapped. I don't think so. She might just get caught up in it. I don't want to read too much into it because I don't want to get too spoiled. But yeah. Far right fella looks like marching band type. Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if that was his thing. Also, I'm not entirely sure, but the bunny character might also be a love interest. Like the little mascot bunny? I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like that could be possible. If so, that'd be funny. Hold on, let me see. I think I might have to check that just to make sure I am not fully bluffing. But that would be hilarious. Characters. Well, it definitely lists this mascot alongside the love interest. He's like right in the middle of them. I think he might actually be a love interest. Yep, he definitely is. Yep, our mascot character definitely is a love interest. Sick. I love that, actually. I'm not sure if this is an otome game that takes itself super seriously or not. I would wager it might be half and half. I feel like there's kind of a split between otome that take themselves a little bit less seriously in favor of all the fluff, more seriously in favor of like plot and drama, and then there's like otome that are kind of in the middle. It's like a spectrum. This one seems like it might lean towards the cute more so, but that's just based on first impressions. But anyway, that's Genso Manesh. This game is coming out relatively soon from what I remember. Although all the places that I'm looking right now say that their release date is unknown still, but I was pretty sure that this was one of the games that was coming out quickly. Unless I confused it with something else. But anyway, it is a game that I want, so. That's at least one plus point, true. The pro of this game can date the mascot. Okay. There was another game that I wanted to play. Obviously, that is the whole point of this stream. There are games I wanted to play. Hold on. I have to find it. Okay. I had to make sure I had the abbreviation right, so that way I can Google to get the promotional image. WebP hate. Found it much faster than Genso Manesh, though. That's a win for me. If the next game you show has a heroine with amnesia, you aren't beating the allegations. Well, luckily, that won't happen. The joke is on you. I will have to show you guys the heroine, well, you'll understand what I mean when I go to explain this, but anyway. Just know that that will not work here. This image is a lot smaller. Hold on, I have to make it bigger. Allegations destroyed. Exactly. We are officially beating the allegations with this one. So this is called... Well, alright. So the Japanese name is Hanamizuki and Bloom. Him, the smile, and Bloom. But it's usually shortened to Hanakare, which is, I think, a much catchier way to discuss the game. So we will be calling it Hanakare as we discuss it. Hanakare and Bloom. I mean, sort of, but it's more... It's like... Hanakare itself is like a portmanteau, I think is the term, but it's like a combination of two of the words in it because they do usually shorten game titles like this. Hanamukare. So this is based on a series of drama CDs that had a similar premise, with these four main guys as the love interests. The unique thing about this game, specifically... Hi, I'm peeking out. This game's already released, by the way, so this is something that I could pick up, like, right away. But the thing about this game is that each guy has his own heroine. So there's actually 4 heroines in this game. 4 separate heroines. They all cover, like, different dynamics, like different relationship dynamics that you could have with a character, and each guy has his own representative flower. Because a lot of the game takes place in a flower shop. I don't remember if it's all the boys that work there or if it's all the girls that work there. I think it could be both. I'm not sure. I don't remember the premise entirely. But I do know that it's 4 different guys, 4 different heroines. And then they each have a different, like, thematic flower that kind of fits their vibes. So they're Hanamizuki plus 1. Yes, they are Hanamizuki plus a new person. Yes, and also guys, that too. Because it's the guys that have the representative flowers, not the girls. So what I've heard about this game, because it did release, and you can get the English version, I believe through the Japanese eShop, but, like, the way a lot of otome localizations are starting to do things now, is, at least if they are digital-only releases, is if you still have to buy them through the Japanese eShop, which means making a Japanese eShop account, and then you probably will have to, you usually will have to buy an eShop card, in yen, that you can charge onto the account and use that to buy games and, like, in-game currency and stuff. But the thing about it, though, is that, like, in the game settings, you can change the text and, like, everything to English. So you can still play the game in English, you just have to buy it through the Japanese eShop. Fun fact. But people have already been playing this game, and they said that the localization is okay. It's not necessarily, like, fully machine translations levels of bad, but it could be better. And I think that that's a problem that we will see in a lot of these games. Hi, Reina! I love you too! There's so many Ys. I love you too! Two. I don't know if I can do that many twos, but imagine that I did. Thank you, Reina. That's nice and convenient. Yeah, exactly. It's not that bad. For me, I did something similar when I played a lot of gacha games. I had a really deep gacha game phase, and I had a Japanese iOS account, Japanese Apple ID, that I would use to play those games, and I would often have to buy Japanese iTunes cards whenever I wanted to get stuff in the games. So I'm familiar with the process. It's pretty easy to do on the Switch as well, so it's definitely, like, convenient, and then once you get it, you can play it on any profile, from what I've seen. So, that is a big win. I would say that is a big win. Look! I honestly don't have that much of that phase anymore. The one device that still has my, JP games on it, Orimama took from me, so I genuinely don't even have access to my games anymore. I have gone pretty much cold turkey, besides playing Starville, I guess. And the fact that I've been tempted to spend money in Mystic Messenger, but I've only been tempted. I haven't actually done it. So you should be praising me for this. Anyways. But yeah, this is Hanakare. If you want, I can show you the heroines for each guy, but that might get into slight spoiler territory for their themes, because they each have, like, a different character trait dynamic in terms of, like, their romance path. Oh, actually, no, these images don't have spoilers. Show the ladies? Okay. Mate, then. I have to get all the images individually. No, not let me. Hold on. I might have to find a better place for all the images. Because it's not letting me pull the images off of this particular page. Maybe this one? Okay, yeah, this'll work. So this is our first love interest. I believe they all have default names, and I will be calling them by their default names as I discuss them, because I tend to go by default names in otome. I discussed this in my Otome 101 stream, but I tend to prefer going by the canon name of the heroine. I just think that that tends to be more fun for me and my immersion, because I like seeing them as a separate character from myself. I tend to just prefer that. So anyway, here's the first heroine and her respective love interest. Their representative flower is the Tweedia. The heroine's name is Aoki Serena. And then her love interest name is Tori Wataru. She's pretty, yeah. I won't, like I said, I'm going to avoid getting into details about each respective route, but there is a reason that she looks this like pretty and like mature. But she's really gorgeous. I honestly really like this character design, I won't lie. The artist for this game, for the people who care, I guess, the artist for this game is the same artist for all of the characters in Cupid Parasite, which I have shown you guys previously. I posted about them on my community tab and on my Twitter. But it's the same artist as the one for Cupid Parasite, so really pretty art. I like how they draw, particularly like eyes. I feel like their eyes are always really well accentuated. Also, this love interest happens to be the one that I'm the most interested in because I really like the, I just like his vibe. He just looks cute. Also, the seiyuu that plays him is a pretty strong casting, so that's also good for me. Next one. So this one... Their representative flower is the mimosa. This heroine is named Ami Akashi. And her love interest name is Ginosuke Sugawa. Represented by the mimosa flower. I think she's also pretty. She looks like she's got an attitude of some kind. She looks like she's girl boss energy. Maybe it's because her face reminds me a lot of Lynette. Lynette being the heroine from Cupid Parasite. But she gives me like big Lynette vibes, so I feel like that means she's a little bit of a girl boss. Today I learned a mimosa is a flower. Yeah, I agree. Her facial expression looks intense, but I also feel like her eyes are still kind of soft. I really like it. Also, you can already get certain vibes from this guy. You can get vibes from this guy. I feel like we can guess what kind of route he is. Alright, third heroine. Let me close some of these tabs. I'm starting to get too many tabs open and it's making me anxious. Yeah, to be fair, I didn't know a mimosa was a flower either. I didn't know until I saw that it was the representative flower. Okay, these two. Our heroine's name is Haruyoshi Fuka. Her love interest is Hokuto Ichige, and their flower is the anemone. Anemone. It's the anemone. Anemone, as they will probably say in the Japanese audio. I think they're cute. I really like the contrast of the purple and the pink. They look like they look good together. They look good next to each other, you know? You know those couples where like you see them next to each other and you just know? You just know. That's the vibe that these two give me. Ponytail's a huge plus, a real. Her with her hair up is very, very cute. So good. But no, I really like how they look together, so I'm excited for these two and their route. I want to know what their whole deal is. And then lastly, one last heroine and love interest. I'm rooting for them. Real. Who's the artist? I feel like I've seen this style before. I just finished saying, but I think it's the same artist that drew the art for Cupid Parasite, which I have shown you guys before. They also did the art for another otome game. I have to look at what the title is again. Hold on. Cafe Enchante. In case you played that one. But it's the same artist. Just came by, started to make you repeat. No worries. It's all good. Oh, hold on. Looks like Kohaku is up to some shenanigans in her birthday stream right now because she sent a very interesting message to the group chat. You guys are torturing her over there. Alright, so then these two. I have to get back to the name section. Okay. So this heroine is Miku Yukihara. Her partner is Tenya Minami, and their flower is the Nandina. Very, very cute. Again, I feel like a lot of these love interests and heroines actually look really good together, like as a pair. So I'm very excited to experience their stories. The one on the left looks awfully like a no-nail VTuber. Kind of. I think that his hair is like redder than that VTuber though. I get what you mean. It's probably also the moe sleeve. The moe sleeve doesn't do him any favors because I know that VTuber is also known for doing moe sleeve a lot of the time. So, I get it. I get it. Not quite the same though. Anyway. So that's what all the heroines look like. None of them have memory loss. I don't want to spoil anything about their respective heroines, but none of them have memory loss. So that's cool. Who's the pretty lady? I'm talking about an otome called, oh my gosh, I just forgot the abbreviation. Hanakare, yes, Hanakare. This otome game, there are 4 different heroines and 4 different love interests. It's a unique otome game in that there's a different heroine for each guy. You, like, take the perspective of a different heroine for each route. This is a game that is on the JP eShop, but if you get it on the eShop, you can translate it into English and play it. But I was showing off all the different heroines because I know you guys like pretty girls. The artist is the same one that did the art for Cupid Parasite, so if you like how Lynette looks, you will like how these heroines look. They are quite pretty. Yuno Hanaki, is she single? Shut up! You guys are so silly. But yeah, those are our heroines and our love interests. I'm interested in this one because I like it when an otome does something kind of unconventional, including things like have multiple heroines. The only thing is that you can't really cross the heroines with the other love interests, which, you know, makes sense. But, like, that's something I'm willing to look over. I guess, basically. Oh, Heldwarf, thank you very much for being a member for 2 months. Welcome back to the Only Lines, and thank you for the head pat. What's the flower for the lady? It's called the Nandina. Nandina. I don't know how to say it. Nandina. Nandina? Something like that. I'm sure the flowers are related to kind of their love story and their vibe. I heard one of the features of this game is that it has a glossary for, like, all the flowers. And, like, explains to you what they mean in flower language, which is probably super useful for understanding the route. Because you do work in a flower shop also. Navina? No. Nandina. There's a D in there. Nandina Nova. Not the same. It is not Nano. But no, I'm interested in this game because of the fact it has the different heroines. I think that it would be fun to kind of jump around between the different characters, figure out their love stories, and it's based on like drama CDs where everything was pretty linear. I believe the heroines were also not voiced. I still think they're not voiced in this game because there isn't a seiyuu listed next to them. But yeah, I think that they are quite cute. The CGs all look really good, but I'm used to that from Cupid Parasite. The Cupid Parasite CGs are all gorgeous. So good art. Pretty decent voice cast. Only one of them is really a seiyuu bias for me. The other three are kind of in terms of like seiyuu ranking. But I could be endeared to them. I wouldn't be surprised. It won't be a self-insert. I guess it still will be. Well, the heroine is not voiced, but they do still seem to have kind of distinct personalities. I was, like, reading their descriptions as I was going through each one, and I could see it was like, this character is, like, this many years old, and she does XYZ. Her personality is this. So I do think that they have pretty set personalities. They're just not voiced. But honestly, voicing the heroine is pretty rare because the heroine would have a lot of lines that would need to be voiced. So that's not a very common thing in most otome nowadays anyway. So I wouldn't come to expect that. Just personally, I wouldn't come to expect it. Okay. You're the fella going after the lady, or the lady going for the fella? We are the ladies going after the fellas. In each route, we play a different heroine, and we're going after a different love interest. Based on like, your chosen love story preference, I guess. But I didn't want to spoil too much about it, because if this is the game we end up choosing, or like recommending me to go for next, I don't want us to go in with too many preconceived notions, because we'll be doing a stream where we try to guess things about each love interest and like what their route might be like. So I'm trying to avoid diving too deeply into them, because I also don't want to be spoiled, because I want to be able to play the guessing game with you guys. I want to come up with like stupid unhinged initial thoughts on each of the guys and see how right or wrong we are. You could use an expert's help. I feel like it's a missed opportunity to not allow the pairings to mix. I know, right? Because sometimes you could get a heroine that you think would be really good with one of the other love interests. But I understand why they didn't code it that way, because I think it would get really complicated. But I also understand, because it's based on drama CDs that were like... They were basically like, for lack of a better term, they were BFE drama CDs, where it was just like, the concept was established, and you just kind of are like listening to the guy talk at you. It's basically just like really long audio dramas, like really long voice packs for people who don't consume drama CDs that often. So like it was already a pretty linear story, it's just that now you get to play through it as an otome, I guess? I'm not sure what makes this different from the drama CDs. It could just be like a otome retelling of the contents of the CDs. Which, that's still fine by me, but yeah. So I think that's why the pairings don't mix, because they already had, like, set storylines for each character, and they just thought it made more sense to give each of them a heroine. But I also think that it'd be nice to see certain heroines with, like, other characters. Because that pink-haired heroine, with the blue-haired love interest, those two would look so good together. Complementary colors, hee hee hoo. But that's just me. That's just my biases showing. That's just a me thing. Okay. Now this next one is admittedly kind of low on my priority list, which is really disappointing because until it released, it was actually one of my most anticipated. I literally was not able to shut up about it for such a long time. But then it released. And then I unfortunately had to change my mind. Not the release disappointment. Let me get you guys the image. It's so rough out here. Okay. You're going to understand why. I will show you guys why. Why did you say that you save as JPEG and then you are JFIF? That is not correct. Okay. Bad reviews? Yes, but not for what you're thinking. Villainous is adored by the prince of the neighbor kingdom. Now, I saw the art for this from, like, the Japanese account for this game, and I was like, oh, shit, this looks right up my alley. Look at this moe blob. Fua fua. Shoujo. Like, this is something I would put in my mouth. It is edible art, okay? Listen. Listen to me. This looks like something that was made for me specifically. Sorry, you can't see me. My freaking... Where do I put this? I don't know. Over here, I guess? I'll go over here right now, because I'm mad. Anyway, this art looks like something I could put in my mouth. That's how much I like it, right? Voice cast, also pretty stellar. I really liked the cast for all the guys. I liked the cast for... I liked the fact that the heroine is voiced. The heroine is voiced in this one, fellas. Let's go. Voiced heroine. Super rare. Super good. But then the game comes out. Or, well, I should say, then the game is announced to get an English release. And we're like, oh, sick! That's so cool! It's so rare that we get a simultaneous release of Japanese and English. But then you get to the page on the official Nintendo eShop, English American eShop, US American English, English-speaking, fluent English store. And we get things like this. This is not a spoiler because this is used in the promotional materials. Normally you're not supposed to share screenshots or like CGs from games. But these are used for promotional images, so I think it's fine. Here is a line from the translation of the video game. I hereby announce our engagement break-off. Now, who, in their right mind, would speak like this? Who says this? Who says things like this? Why would the who and the what? Why, though? Why would they put that in the promo? This is the first promotional image you get for the video game on the Nintendo eShop page. I wish I was kidding. This is the first image that you see that has translated dialogue. I wish I was joking. I want to be joking. But here's another. Here's another if you want more. I'm sure you want more, right? We all want more of this. We all want more of this. We really live in a society, man. I'm not kidding. I want hug you, even at this very moment. I want hug you. Coming out of this very bishonen, borderline ikemen looking man? I don't think so. I don't think so, sir. Mr. Gentleman? Mr. Prince from the neighboring kingdom, titular man of the game? I don't think so. I'm so disappointed. So the current theory is that this game, while not terribly translated in all parts, the theory is that a lot of this was machine translation. It feels very non-corrected. Like, it feels like they didn't proofread it very much, if at all. It feels like they went a little bit too literal with how they translated certain things. The other thing about this game is that it ended up not really being that much of an otome. It's more like a kinetic visual novel, which is basically a voiced version of, like, the light novel. Because the premise for this game is that, let me get the normal image up. Hold on. Let me get the normal image back up for us so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Gonna have to resize it again. But anyway, so the premise of this game is it's one of those isekai reincarnated as the villainous games. But our main heroine doesn't actually have to do that much work to get a better ending, basically. So she is the villainess, right? She's the one who's holding the hands of the blue-haired guy in the front here. Her name is Tiara Rose. She was originally engaged to the blonde guy, Heart Knight. And Heart Knight basically dumps her. She thinks that she's going to get the bad ending, but then in the exact same time, the blue guy, who is the prince from the neighboring kingdom, I think it's like the Water Kingdom or something, because his name is Aquaseed, he just immediately proposes to her and is like, I've been in love with you this entire time. Now that you're single, I would like to make you my wife. And then basically the entirety of the game is about them, like, growing to love each other and stuff, basically. It takes place over the course of 3 chapters. The first chapter is what takes place in the base otome game that she reincarnated into. The second one takes place in the fan disc, and then the third one is, I think, like, just basically meant to be, like, a sequel story of sorts. But it's not really an otome in that you cannot choose who you date. Tiara Rose pretty much always goes with Aquaseed. They are, like... It's implied that they are, like, destined to be together. They don't have eyes for literally any of the other characters in the game. There's, like, not even really a point to, like, a jealousy arc, because Aquaseed is so, like, dedicated to Tiara Rose that the idea of even touching another woman creeps him out, because he's just like, no, I should only be touching my wife. Which, like, good for him. Very big wife guy energy. But it's not really an otome, because the point of an otome is that you're supposed to be able to pursue multiple love interests. Now, from what I've heard, the game does offer, like, supplemental scenes with, like, what-if scenarios where you could have been with the guy. But you don't play as Tiara Rose in those. You play as the original heroine, like, from the first game.
May the only lights guide you.
And then also, you can play as the heroine from the fan disc, like for part 2 when you want to date that love interest. And it's just very strange that like you can't pursue the other guys. And people could argue, oh well, it's because Tiara Rose only has interest in Aqua Steed, or oh well, it's because if she were to accept this offer from Aqua Steed but then reject him to go be with another guy, it would make him really, really sad. But like, it's not an otome if you can't pursue the other endings and like see other options. The other thing too is that while you can make choices throughout the game, it seems that you are always on one set route. You get like slightly different flavor text, and you can also, and like certain choices will also give you a CG versus others that won't. But like, you don't change your path at all. You're always going down the same linear path because it's following the story of the light novel. Which is not inherently bad, but it feels wrong to market this as an otome. Because I absolutely thought that this was an otome where you could like change the path and it was like, explore options that are different from the original light novel. But it seems not. So, but like the thing is, I am still kind of interested in the story overall. So as much as I'm disappointed that it's not a like tried and true otome, I do kind of want to play it still, because again, it's another case of like star-studded cast for me. I like a lot of the voices for the male love interests, and there are like alternate universe scenarios where you get to date the guys but as the other heroines, which I guess is fine. But yeah, I don't know, it's a bit strange. People say, but this is what the character would do, but they wrote the dang character. Exactly. I just think that if they wanted it to just be a retelling of the light novel, they probably could have just called this a kinetic visual novel, or they could have just called it like, just call it a visual novel, period. Because I think calling it an otome is not being truthful to like the actual contents of the game, because like was said, it is basically railroading you, which is kind of a bummer in my opinion. I do not like being railroaded either. But yeah, this is what I have heard from like the majority of people who have picked up this game, because I pay attention to otome social media pages. But the majority of people who picked this game up were very disappointed that it was so linear and that you couldn't really make too many choices. And that if you wanted to date the other love interest, you couldn't even do it as Tiara Rose. And like, you know, so because this is a villainous story, the original heroine of the game, this like brown-haired girl in the back, she's portrayed as a villain because she's the one who literally like stole Heart Knight from you. And you don't really get to like, you don't really get that satisfaction of getting to like steal him back or anything, because those two just like go frick off forever. At least in something like DDLC, the genre shift is the point. This just sounds mislabeled. Is it stealing if he decides to go after her? Well, I mean, it kind of. I don't know very much about the plot of this game. It is kind of implied that she did some work to like steal him away from Tiara Rose. But what I'm saying is I kind of wish there was an option as Tiara Rose to try and get Heart Knight back. That's what I would want. My well thought out member message got missed. No, I didn't miss it. I just didn't read it because I was rambling. But thank you for being a member for 8 months. You know I'm not kidding. I want to hug you even at this very moment. Thanks. Or I guess, I don't know what Tiara Rose says in that moment, but it's probably something like, Kya, I can't believe he wants to hug me. Give embrace. Thank you. But no, I'm so disappointed because this game looked like it was gonna be so cute. It had so much, like, potential that got squandered because they wanted to stay loyal to the light novel. Such a bummer. I think I do still want to pick it up eventually, but maybe only if it goes on sale on the eShop. If it goes on sale, then I'll pick it up. But until then, I'm probably not gonna. This is like low on my priority list. I also heard that it's quite short, too. Like, apparently you could get through each section within, like, 5 hours or so, so the entire game is, like, 15 gameplay hours. Which is very, very short for an otome. Most otome games have a lot of replay value for that reason, but this one is just a pretty much one-and-done experience. Because the only real difference is being able to get, like, CGs, I guess, based on your choices. Other than that, there aren't really a lot of differences. This is the equivalent of AAA gaming nowadays. 10 to 10 graphics, 4 to 10 everything else. So true. Although I think I would say graphics and then also, like, voice acting are pretty high. Like, those would be 10 out of 10 for me, at least. But then everything else is probably super low. But I also haven't played it, so I can't make a full judgment. Maybe I would be really attached to the story, despite me complaining about it. I just think that it would have been better marketed as a visual novel than as an otome. I don't really understand the switching up of genre there. Because, like, Opera House has made other... Opera House are the people that made this game. But Opera House has made other otome games that are, like, actually otome. So I really don't know why they decided to do this with this one. It just feels like a very strange choice overall. And, like, they just did not care. We do not care. Which is a bummer. Sometimes you just drop the ball. Real. Real. Anyway. I think those are kind of the main 3 options. There is another otome that is in the background of my thumbnail that you guys might have noticed I haven't pulled up yet. Let me see if I can find it. This is a older otome that only recently got a localization. Immense disappointment in your voice. I'm not happy. Stomps on the ground. They were mean to me. How dare they do this? But okay, so there's one more game. That was in my background that we can discuss a bit briefly. This is a very old otome. Some of you might actually even recognize this just because of the fact it had an anime at one point. And it's like that old of a game that I feel like there's just a very strong chance that people know it exists. Hakuoki, Chronicles of Wind and Blossom. This released on August 1st. So about 8 days ago. So Hakuoki is set in, like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like, the era of the Shinsengumi? I want to say Sengoku era, but I might be wrong about this. I might be wrong. Sounds familiar? Yeah. Hakuoki had an anime adaptation, I think in, like, 2011, 2012-ish? Pretty old anime adaptation, but it did have one. But it takes place with, like, the Shinsengumi. Our main character, I believe, gets sent back in time to this, like, fantasy version of the feudal era. I think. Maybe that was just the premise of the anime. I don't know if that's also the premise of the game. Bullshine War era? Yeah, there is a lot of, like, wartime discussion, but it's also more fantasy-oriented, I would say, compared to a more accurate, like, historical retelling. But it does focus a lot on, like, Japanese history and things like it. It is a classic otome game for a reason. The version that released, like, this particular version is a combination of Chronicles of Wind and Blossom and a remastered compilation of Edo Blossoms and Kyoto Winds. So you can play, like, multiple games within one pack, basically. Two complete Ultimate Visual Novel Adventures. Oh, okay, so it's just the two, but that's fine. Yeah. But a lot of the love interests are from the Shinsengumi. So you get to romance them, and that's part of why it was so popular. Because it was like ikemenifying the Shinsengumi, I guess. I don't know very much about the game beyond the very basic premise, though. I think I might have listened to a couple drama CDs at one point, but I don't honestly remember that much about the game itself. Or, like, the storylines, I should say. I know there is a certain irony that I listen to drama CDs before playing the game, but it'd be like that for me. I mostly use drama CDs to get better at listening to Japanese. So that's why I listen to a lot of them before picking up any of the games that they were based off of, should they have been based off of a game. But yeah, this one's like a oldie but a goodie. Very surprising localization announcement for this one. But it's cool that they decided to give it the attention that it deserves, because I think that a lot of good otome game from like that older era were kind of ignored to an extent, so it's cool to see them getting revisited and like kind of remastered to bring them back for more modern audiences. Because it focuses on like war and has a lot of like historical depictions of violence and things like that, this game is rated M, which I find interesting too. A lot of the other games I discussed are usually just like rated E or like rated T. This one is rated M. Which, fair enough, they are soldiers in war. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some pretty dark stuff going on. Pretty mature topics. But yeah. This is the other game that released recently. I'm thinking about picking it up just because it's like an older otome, and I feel like I should be paying homage more to like the older otome that kind of paved the way for the more modern ones. I mostly have a lot of modern ones on my to-play list. My wish list on my Nintendo eShop is just all otome games at this point. Whoops. Sorry, not sorry. But, I do, really want to consider playing this game at some point. Oh, good night, sleep well. Have a good rest. Well, yeah, those were our, those are the 4 games that are releasing within, like, the same kind of span of time. I think there's one more game that's also coming out within this time frame. I have to see if I can remember which one it is, though. Well, the fan disc for Virche Evermore is coming out, or Virche Evermore. I think it's supposed to be pronounced Virche. But I haven't played the first Virche, so that one doesn't apply to me as much. Where is... Yeah, Radiant Tail. Radiant Tail is another game I wanted to pick up. That one also has a fan disc coming out. It's kind of crazy how fan discs are coming out so quickly, even compared to like the actual like base games. It's like A lot of people never thought that fan discs would ever get touched. I mean, that's because a lot of people didn't expect the base games to get touched. But then fan discs have been getting localized really, really quickly, which is pretty cool. Let me pull up a Radiant Tail. The character art for this one is like very, very bright. It's a very bright and colorful game. But honestly, the art style kind of goes hard. Let me pull this up. Probably gonna be near the bottom, huh? Yeah. Radiant Tail. Also kind of like a circus theme. Similar to, Menage a little bit. Manege. But, like, Radiant Tail, I think, is more so circus-oriented. Look at these character designs, though. You can't tell me they don't pop out. I like the look of this one. Same. That's a lot of the reason why it ended up in my wish list. I like the aesthetics a lot. So our protagonist's name is Tifalia. Tifalia's comfortable life is turned upside down when a dragon crash lands right into her. This triggers her first encounter with Circus, a performance troupe that travels around the world to save their crown prince. After a dismal failure of a performance, Circus discovers that Tifalia might be able to help them and recruit her to act as producer for their dysfunctional troupe. Will they master the ring or just be mediocre? Who is the dude bottom left, or is that a chick? That's probably a guy. Looks like he's meant to be the jester. Jester? I know how to talk, I promise. Orange guy speaks to me. Are you talking about the same one, the jester? Let me see if I can get his name for you. But yeah, no, Tifalia is cute. I really like that heroine design. Orange guy. The cynical clown Zephora. So that is Zephora. He's apparently cynical. What a guy. He do be the jester. But I guess he's just, probably more deadpan. A circus, so the heroine is going to be put in a cage again. No, she's not going to be put in a cage. She's brought on to help them try and get their act together so they can put on better performances in hopes of finding their crown prince, according to the story description. So they are probably not going to put her in a cage. She's meant to be like their assistant director. They wouldn't do that to her. Well, no, I really like these character designs. This has been on my, wish list for a while. And the fan disc recently came out. So many fan discs for games. And I've said this before, but fan discs are like, basically like a bonus game that's meant to be more fan servicey than the previous one. Not that otome games themselves aren't usually pretty fan servicey, but like a fan disc is meant to be a continuation that's like fan pandering more than anything else. Sometimes they have a lot of plot, but a lot of the time it's just intended for them to be like, what's it called? I lost my train of thought. But anyway, fan discs tend to pander more towards fans for that reason. You say that, but that's the mega twist in one of the lines? In Radiant Tail? I don't think so. Just because that's something that happens in Amnesia doesn't mean it's going to happen in every otome game. I know you guys really like the cage, but please. Plot or plot softcore? Yeah, it's a bit of both. Depending on the source material, it's a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. But yeah, pretty solid lineup of otome games that have been coming out semi-recently. I need to start going through and adding more to my wish list if I can. I find it a lot easier if they are added to the Western eShop than if I have to get them off of the JP eShop, but it is cool that you have the option to get them off the JP eShop. But then still be able to play them in English. It's nice that it's being offered, but my main concern is that we're going to run into more games like, the villainess, is loved by the prince of the neighboring kingdom. I just think that, like, the issue with that game could become more prevalent in future games. Obviously, like, notwithstanding the fact that it's just a retelling of a light novel, I'm more concerned about the machine translation, or, like, the really poorly checked over translation. I'm very concerned about that, and, like, future games being impacted by such decisions. I really don't want that. Yuno's one fear, badly localized otome. I hate badly localized anything, because I play a lot of games that were originally Japanese. I hate when any game is badly localized, but I do admit that, like, otome, and I think this can extend to any visual novel, since the whole point of a visual novel is to be reading a lot of text, you should not be cutting corners with your text. Your text literally is, like, the most key component of the game. You cannot afford to make it bad. That is supposed to be the main thing that draws people in. That's the main reason people pick up the game. Yes, there's pretty art. Yes, there's nice music. Yes, there's nice voices. But a lot of the time, the story is, like, the main reason people pick up a visual novel. And so if you're not prioritizing your written dialogue and you're just kind of letting it look bad, or you're not proofreading it properly, I don't think that's good, personally. Like, badly localizing a book. It's like if every book was just a published, unedited fanfiction, you know? That's kind of how I see it. At least do a little bit of proofreading, as a treat. That's all I ask. My Immortal. Well, My Immortal doesn't count. My Immortal is an anomaly in and of itself. That one can't entirely count. But I do get what you mean. But yeah, those are just some examples. There's other otome that I've been wanting to get that I haven't gotten around to. But I don't know how many of them I want to talk about, because I feel like if I start talking about too many, I will really start cutting it close to my call-in time. I don't want to cut it too close to my Totsu time. So, I guess we can kind of just see if any of those particular titles caught your fancy. Personally, I think I might pick up Hanakare first, just to see if it's fun. Mostly because the other game that I talked about still doesn't have a release set up on the... it's not set up on Steam yet for its release. I am looking forward to the fact that it's releasing on Steam, though. I'm really glad when visual novels are on Steam. Do the one you want to do the most first? That's so hard. The problem is that I have so many I want to play that I don't know which one I want to do first. I do think I'm the most intrigued by Hanakare, though. Genso Manage is the other one that I want to play the most, but that one doesn't have a confirmed, like, release date yet so far. Can't say I'll wind up playing any, not my type of game, but I enjoy hearing you go on about them. Oh, I wasn't doing this hoping you guys would pick up the games. It was more, I wanted like a little bit of direction so I could figure out which game to focus on for my next couple YuNovels streams. Because I'll probably with whatever one I pick, we'll do a guess that love interest. And we'll like all work together to come up with guesses about the characters, because this time I'll be able to participate because I don't know anything about the game. And then I'll play the game proper and we can do a proper analysis stream later down the road. Because I still have to finish Cupid Parasite, all things considered. I should probably do either a YuNovels or a YuNotebook about Cupid Parasite once I'm done with the fan disc. I also should probably finish the base Cupipara, but I'm lazy and I don't want to touch that character's route. I know that I must, though. The second one, I can't remember the names, is the most intriguing with the distinct heroines. Ah, you're talking about Hanakare, too. I do agree that I think that one was the most intriguing. Genso Manege, as cool as it is, and like as much as I like the aesthetic, I do think I have a desire for something a little bit more grounded in reality. Because I'm playing Cupipara, and the route that I'm on in Cupipara is actually so fucking ridiculous. It got really, really silly, and it's kind of frustrating me that it went to, like, borderline parody levels of silly. So I think maybe I would probably pick Hanakare just because it seems like it's more grounded in reality. Like, there's no fantasy elements. It's just dudes at a flower shop, which I think is great. I think that's great for me. I need the palette cleanser. Because unfortunately, it just seems like Cupipara is a little bit silly, and like, Cupipara is more fantasy-oriented. It always was because of its tie to the gods, but like, I do think I will need a palette cleanser, and Hanakare seems like the best choice there. And I'll get to analyze like 4 separate stories, which I think is pretty fun. So it'll probably be Hanakare that I do next. Which makes sense to me. That works great. Okay. So I will be picking up Hanakare. I think that is one that is on the US eShop. I have to double check. Is it? I'm not sure. Hanakare. Either it is or it's not, and I have to get it off of the JP, but that's okay. If I have to get it off the JP, that's fine. Yeah, in-game selection. Okay, so I do have to get it off the JP eShop. That's fine. Praying for good localization. From what I have heard about the Hanakare localization, because I've seen people tweeting about the game, it's okay. It was not proofread, but it is not horribly awful. There are moments where they like kind of go against their own style guide and they call one thing multiple different things. So I think some things just didn't get translated properly, or maybe they just didn't communicate internally between writers how certain things are being translated. Which is bad, because you are given a style guide when it comes to localization so that everybody is calling it the same thing. It's not I want hug you? No, it is not I want hug you. I don't think it's at that level. From what I have heard, I heard that the Hanakare translation is pretty okay. Besides a few hiccups, like what I said about them not following the same in-house style guide, it seems like Hanakare is better. So as long as it's something I can kind of tolerate for the most part, I'll be okay with it. Even with games that I've played that have slightly better translations, they kind of get progressively worse depending on the route that you're on. And I wonder if it's either because of like the time that you have to put into localizing a visual novel type game, or if it's just because they didn't care about that character's route very much. But I've played games where some parts of it were localized quite well, and then it kind of deteriorates over time. So I can handle a little bit of deterioration and like a couple of spelling mistakes. I'll make fun of them, but I can handle a couple spelling mistakes. The more egregious it gets, though, that's where I start getting sassy. That's where I start wanting to kick your ass. Different people? Probably. I mean, there's always multiple people that work on localizations of games. It's never just one person that localizes an entire game. And there's also, like, usually the people who made the original game will send a style guide along of, like, preserve it like this, or, like, make sure you localize this as this specifically. There's a chance that there were just some miscommunications between team members that made it so that the localization was not consistent. But for example, in Cupid Parasite, there is a section in Raoul's route where his route was pretty well translated for, like, most of the beginning. But then we get to this, like, hardcore fantasy section, and part of the issue is that, like, that whole section must have been translated by a completely different person, because all of the, like, normal writing conventions went out the window, all of the spelling and grammar kind of went out the window. I feel like it didn't even really get proofread. It was like, I don't know what happened there. But it was really rough, and it made me kind of hate his route because I just could not understand what was going on. And because it was a super, like, fantastical sequence, the fact that it was not a very clear translation was very frustrating because it meant that it was very difficult to understand what was happening. Your style guide, I pretend not to see. Literally, some people are like that, and it's very annoying. But yeah, that was part of Raoul's route in Cupid Parasite that I hated. And I ended up really liking Raoul as a character. So the fact that that part of his route just fell super flat and sour for me because of the translation was, like, really bad. And then the worst part was that once we got out of that section and we were, like, into the next one, the translation got normal again. So, like, really it was only that one part, that one person who just totally sabotaged that section. For, like, no discernible reason. I do not know why it was so bad. And it still bothers me. I'm just like, why would that be allowed to happen? Baffling. Wish this friend to step on a Lego. You know that meme where it's like, I hope you find $5 on the ground? I hope you lose a $5 bill on the ground. I hope you lose a $5 bill. Ugh. I don't know. Like, I don't want to believe it was malicious. It probably wasn't. It's just like, how? It was so cohesive before then. That was his lunch money? Oh well. Don't wear pants with holes in the pockets. Minus $5. Mm-hmm. A fate worse than death. Losing your nugget money. But no, I've had my rant about the Amnesia translation as well. Beginning parts of Amnesia routes were great, but then the further along you would get, the, like, more and more grammar errors would start appearing. And then, like, in the fan disc, which is where I showed you that screenshot from, the legendary I'm More Harder, that's from the sequel game. And it's very obvious that they didn't care as much about localizing the sequel compared to how they localized the original. Because there were just so many mistakes. It's so silly. I'll never understand. What? What do you mean, what? I could have sworn you were there for that discussion. Anyway. I'm More Harder. Yes, I'll get you the line. Hold on. I have to remember where I put it again. I think I just saved it to my image folder. Is that what you said? Yes. Hold on. Hold on. I got you. Hold on. Deliveries that live in my head rent-free. That's incredible. I hate it. I hated it so much. This was meant to be in, like, the freaking confession part where he's basically proposing to her and, like, promising himself to her for marriage, for marriage, like, full commitment type relationship beat. And they localize it like, it's so bad. Hold on. I could have sworn I saved it. Maybe I have to dig through my Discord again. Dang it. Funny enough, I have one of Toma's CGs saved, but I don't have the quote saved. Alright, fine. Alright, fine. Look at my dang self. You just need to start collecting bad lines in otome. Why would I do that to myself? Once again, taking physical damage from bad dialogue. It's psychic damage. Luckily, I am not physically harmed. I am just psychically harmed. Where the frick is this dang line? Because it's so goofy. Why would you keep them stream content? Just a whole stream of, like, really cringe, bad otome lines? That would be wild. Where are you? So you can make a voice packer t-shirt? Well, I can't take other people's dialogue and use it for my purposes like that. YuNovels, how to not write otome dialogue. How to not localize real. Where is... Okay, here it is. You can actually hear me taking psychic damage in real time. You know that one meme gif? I don't know what it's from, but that one gif with the guy who's like holding his head and going like, ah! That's me right now. Because I'm literally dying having to look at this. Anyway, in case you thought I was lying, I saved the screenshot. I cropped out the CG, so this doesn't count as a spoiler. Don't come for me, Idea Factory, please. Don't come for me. I didn't do anything wrong. But in case you don't believe me, this is literally a screenshot from the game. Why did they do this to my boy Shin? He doesn't deserve that. Why'd they do this to him? He doesn't deserve this. What the heck? How dare they? You have to understand that I am in pain. What am I looking at? He's having like a romantic discussion with the heroine. I'm trying to avoid spoilers, not that it really matters, but like they're having this discussion about how he wants to like be more affectionate with her and like hold her close and things like that. And then he's trying to say something akin to once I'm holding you, it's difficult to let you go, or something like that. But for some reason, they localized it like this. And I'm just like, who wrote this? Who did this? This is literally so bad. Who did this? Like, this is how I know that they must not have had, like, multiple proofreaders, which I think was confirmed. When I was looking at the credits, I saw they only had one proofreader for the localization. And that poor person must have been very overworked because they let this slip through. I hate it. It drives me crazy. But they were trying to hold hands. Something like that. Something like that. Is it in character, this line? No. Shin is literally considered one of the smartest characters of the love interests. He's not like prodigy status, but he's like hardcore studying because he wants to pass his entrance exams to get into the same university as the heroine. He's like constantly studying super hard so that he can like keep up with her and with Toma. He's really, really smart. At the very least, canonically smarter than she is. So I don't know why they had him talk like this. Why'd he go caveman? Anyway, it drives me up the wall. Things that have ruined my life. I was so angry. I was just like, you know what? I feel like I am reaching a point where I just want to, like, go back to school, study Japanese, become, like, a freaking fluent Japanese, like, language major, and then I'm going to enter the localization field so that I can freaking focus on otome. Studying more harder? Shut up! Don't do this to me! No! But I really was so mad that I almost, like, pivoted my entire, like, life's path so that I could become a localizer and prevent these things. Literally, I'll do it myself. At least I care about otome games enough that I would make sure that every route was treated with love and care. This might have been a Shakespearean twist. Well, that makes no sense in the context, because this character doesn't know freaking anything about Shakespeare. Shakespeare is not at all related to his character. Maybe the localizer was too good. They had to nerf them. It was just like, oh, this translation's too good. We have to nerf it so that you can be humble. Stupid. Kind of nonsense. Anyway, as I previously have stated, this stream did have a time limit. It looks like Hanakare is gonna be the game that I pick up next. So, I will be working on that. I can't guarantee that it will be the next YuNovels thing that we discuss, because I might, like I said, I might try to dedicate some time to keep a Parasite, maybe. But it will be one of the next things we discuss for YuNovels. We will go through Hanakare stuff. I'm excited. I want to see these heroines in action. I want to see them be cute. But for now, I'm going to wrap up because it is almost time for my call-in slot at Kohaku stream. That's also where we're going to raid into. Tomorrow, members only. So members, tier 2 and up, we are going to be doing ASMR practice, or more like ASMR setup. I'm going to be setting up the microphone a little bit before stream starts, and then you guys are going to help me make sure that the volumes are good and that it sounds normal, and then eventually we'll do like a proper ASMR thing eventually. Keyword is eventually. I'm very nervous. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm very shy. So go easy on me when I go to do it, okay? Have mercy, but also be honest with me. It's okay to be honest. If it doesn't sound good, you have to be able to tell me there, okay? It's like dedicated to doing it. So be honest with me, but don't be mean about it, please. Thank you. But that is the plan for tomorrow night. If you don't like ASMR, as I know some people brought up last week when I was talking about it, feel free to skip out on this one. It's mostly for the ASMR likers. But yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for choosing to spend time with me. I hope that you have a good rest of your time zone, and until I see you again, YuNotsu!